What is up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mug. I love Bretonnia. Bretonnia is amazing, and one of the 14 dukedoms of the Kingdom of Bretonnia in the Old World setting for Warhammer Fantasy, and soon to be the upcoming Old World game produced by Games Workshop, is Brione, the Dukedom of Brione, which was ruled by Duke Theodoric of Brione. He was the last ruler when the end times came and took everybody's lunch money. So we're going to take a look at the region. I think it's hilarious. I'm not really sure which period of time the Old World game takes place in, what was going on politically in the game world at the time, and I know more information is going to be coming out about that, but we're going to take a look at the region and the culture and how quirky and weird and funny and hilarious it was. We're going to take a look at the people, a little bit of a dive into the Duke, the good Duke, before the end times came, and it's going to be a great video, so I hope you enjoy it. Today's video is brought to you by my patrons, and you can check that out. You click the link below to head over to my Patreon and become a subscriber today with some really awesome exclusive things that is just going to be really great to talk about at the end of the video. So stay tuned for that. Now let's dive into Brionne. Brionne, like I said, was one of the 14 dukedoms of the Kingdom of Bretonnia, and it is on the southern tip of Bretonnia's western coast below the Dukedom of Aquitaine. Being surrounded by powerful allies and far away from major threats, Brionne is famous for its beautiful and tranquil landscape, second only to its brethren within Aquitaine itself. Indeed, for Brionne is famous for its emphasis on making everything from its mighty castles to small towns as clean and beautiful as possible. That gives you a little hint of what the quirkiness of this place is. The people love aesthetics here. They love to see beauty and the harmony of a really nicely designed castle. In fact, the people and the dukes and the rulers love the aesthetics of the nice, clean looking things so much that they will often tear down villages. They'll spend all of their gold if they go to a village and they think, oh, it's a little too dirty or it's a little muddy, or, the sun doesn't really hit it correctly over here. Tear the whole thing down. Tear it all down. We're going to rebuild it. And so they'll spend their own money. They'll displace all the villagers while they tear the whole place down and rebuild it back up with clean streets, nice, clean houses, no mud, no animal droppings or anything. And the dukes will ride around and the nobles will ride around and say, ah, yes, this is beautiful. This is a village worthy of Brione, and then they'll go away. Now, this has become such a joke over time, over the many, many years, and the villagers are just kind of used to it, that this is the way their region is. The Dukedom of Brione is known for beautiful things. So when the Duke is coming, they will run to this little village in their clean, scrubbed clothes, freshly washed, and they'll stand in the streets and they'll wave, hello, hello, Duke, hello. And as soon as the Duke leaves, they will go back to their real homes, which is in a shanty town over the next hill, hidden from anywhere the Duke would be able to see it when he's traveling on the road. Isn't that hilarious? They will have built their actual hovels, their little shacks, behind the hill that the Duke couldn't possibly see, and that's where they would really live. And this little village is like a model home when you go into a new residential area that is empty and it just looks really nice, and it's decorated nicely and furnished very beautifully, but nobody lives there. It's fake. I think it's hilarious. Also, on the other end of the spectrum, the rulers have been known to build these beautiful, elaborate castles with wonderful spires and battlements that look just terrific against the sunset and against the landscape. It looks so beautiful, but they're impractical. The walls cannot support the weight of siege machines. Their towers are not equipped for bowmen to defend it. It's just like for show. And that actually reminds me of a real world story. I think I was watching a YouTube video about this very eccentric ruler who wanted to build old, picturesque, beautiful castles, but he lived in like the early 1900s or the early, like the turn of the century, when there was electricity and there was plumbing, but he wanted old-looking castles that were just completely impractical. He spent all his fortune on it, and then I think at the end, the story was that he was committed for just being insane and not being fit to rule. It's something like that. It's just a crazy story. I gotta see if I could dig that historical video up. There's real history is crazy, and then You see it in our little war games, and we can laugh at it and go, "Ha, that's so silly, silly Briones." So the geography is that it is the least threatened of the Bretonnian dukedoms because you've got Carcassonne standing between it and the mountains, Quenelles between it and the Atholorn forest, and Aquitaine between it and the forest of Chalons, where there's a lot of big spooky beastmen running around. So they've got like a buffer all around them. Even the seas off the coast are forgiving. Most of Brione is arable land, and there are some pastoral land in the east and south. The coast is typical of Bretonnia's cliffs and beaches, and there is a major natural port at the mouth of the river Brionne. The city of Brionne is built here, shining like a jewel set in silver, as all the poets say. Yeah, as entirely too many poets have said. Like Brionne itself, the castles and towns of Brionne are built for beauty rather than practicality. Many nobles have built keeps so as to harmonize with the landscape, but in completely indefensible positions. It is hilarious that this little dukedom's whole character is that the people love aesthetics and harmony and beauty and art and poetry and the songs and the ballads. And it's said when you talk about the people that Brionians think that everyone born in the dukedom of Brione is born with a poet's heart. And it's just hilarious. So, and other people say that they'll like leave Brione just to get away from all of the nonsense. There are numerous rivalries, feuds, and alliances, but most are based on the repercussions of courtly love. This is almost like the knightly virtues. Courtly love is basically when a handsome young knight goes to visit the court of a lord with a wife who might not be perfectly happy, and she sees a brave young knight, and he sees her, and their eyes meet across the courtroom during the ball, and the noble lord is not expecting anything untoward happening, and then looks are exchanged, and breathless whispers, and such, and that's like the whole of Brionne's culture. All of their knights are raised with these stories of forbidden love, and that's like what the knights want. They want to feel that. They want to experience that. I think that's just so hilarious that they've got this adulterous, like really toxic view of what masculinity and what it means to be a man and to be a knight, to go and to ignite this fire of passion in married women all across the land. So what I think it says, adultery is the least of the problems. Feuds, attempted assassinations, and all-out war are common. Most Brionian adventurers have left the dukedom because of problems arising from their pursuit of courtly love. Better than courtly love. Often this means the husband found out, but since deeds of prowess are an important part of the process, even successful lovers may set out. I think that just means that, you know, if you're a good enough fighter and you can defend yourself, even if the Lord finds out and challenges you to a duel, then you can win the duel and you can move on with your life. I think it is just ridiculous. Duke Theodoric, his whole ending story, spoiler alert, is that during the end times he becomes sorry, and he wants to repent for all of his sinning and adultery. So he decides to go to the monastery of La Maison Taal, which was the main setting for the Lichmaster RPG, which is like my favorite campaign in the history of role-playing games. And he goes and he prays for forgiveness from the lady, and that's when the undead attack, and he gets into a duel with Archon the Black, and he defeats him, and he almost kills him, except he's struck down right before he's able to kill Archon the Black. So that could have been a huge turning point in the end times story. But as we all know, we can't have anything nice where the end times are concerned, and so we lose Duke Theodoric. But it's a great story. He lived a life of adultery and deceitfulness, and he decides at the end that no, this is not the way a knight or a lord should behave. So he goes and he decides to do the right thing. All right, and speaking of the right thing, I'm going to get right out of here. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said before, the Patreon is open for, we're always looking for new patrons to come and support the studio. If you do, then you can have an avatar painted up and joining the ranks of the other patrons before you. It's just a fantastic little project. I haven't seen any other content creators do this. So instead of just having a slideshow screen that says lists the name of all of my patrons, I'm gonna do a little video clip at the end of all of my videos where you're gonna see your name, and depending on how long you've been a patron of this studio and how much money you've donated to help support my studio, then I'm gonna paint your miniature up that represents you. You can see how much other people have donated, and it's just going to be a great time. I'm going to put you into the Book of Legends, and I hope you consider it. If you have thought of maybe supporting me for even just $1 a month, then I would really appreciate it. And if not, hey, if you just subscribe to my videos, you get on over to the Discord, that's enough for me. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Head over to the Discord. May 1st, the Summer Painting Challenge is right around the corner. Can't wait to see you there. Latest, players!